The internet is supposed to be forever. Once something is uploaded, it's there to stay. But in late January 2026, we witnessed an unprecedented digital vanishing act. For years, the world waited for the final trove of Jeffrey Epstein documents. When they finally dropped, it was the biggest data dump in recent history. And then, just 24 hours later, thousands of those pages were gone, clawed back by the government. The immediate assumption was obvious: a cover-up, a conspiracy to protect the powerful names that had just been exposed. But the truth about what happened during those chaotic 24 hours is arguably more disturbing than a conspiracy. It wasn't a master plan. It was a catastrophe of incompetence. To understand the disappearance, we need to understand the pressure cooker that preceded it. In 2025, Congress passed the Epstein Files Transparency Act. It mandated the release of everything: millions of pages of FBI reports, court transcripts, and evidence logs, by a strict deadline of January 30th, 2026. The Department of Justice had a 500-person review team working around the clock. Their job was Herculean: review 3 million pages and redact sensitive information. They were looking for social security numbers, undercover agent names, and crucially, the identities of victims who wished to remain anonymous. They were rushing, they were understaffed, and they were working with outdated technology. As the deadline hit, they pushed the button. The floodgates opened. Almost immediately, internet sleuths and journalists realized something was horribly wrong. The first issue was dubbed the copy-paste bug. In an astonishing technical oversight, the DOJ hadn't actually burned in the redactions on thousands of older files. They had simply placed black digital rectangles over the text. Anyone could just highlight the black bar, copy it, and paste the hidden text into a Word document. Suddenly, raw, unverified FBI tips and names that were legally required to be hidden were exposed to the entire world. But that wasn't the worst part. The true tragedy of the 24-hour window was the failure to protect survivors. Due to human error in the rush, the review team missed markers on dozens of documents. Full names, birth dates, and even highly sensitive medical records of Epstein's victims were published bare. It was a massive, agonizing violation of privacy for women who had spent years trying to rebuild their lives. Within hours, victims' attorneys were filing emergency injunctions. The DOJ realized the magnitude of their mistake. They didn't just take down the problematic files. In a panic, they yanked massive chunks of the entire database offline to stop the bleeding. This is when the disappearance happened. While the focus was on victim privacy, other high-profile items got caught in the dragnet, fueling conspiracy theories. The most famous was the so-called drawer photo, a candid picture allegedly showing Donald Trump, Melania Trump, Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell together in a casual setting. It was visible briefly, then vanished. Also pulled were the transcripts of Operation Leap Year, detailing early FBI interviews that contained unverified but explosive allegations against several international businessmen. These files disappeared because their redactions were flawed, exposing sources, but their removal looked incredibly suspicious. 2 days later, the DOJ faced the music. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche called it a catastrophic mixture of technical limitations and human exhaustion. They admitted their systems couldn't handle the scale and that their review teams failed. The explanation was incompetence, not conspiracy. But the damage was done. Survivors filed lawsuits against the government for the privacy breach, and for the public, the image of files appearing and then vanishing only solidified the belief that the full story will never be told. The DOJ has since been re-uploading the files slowly, this time with proper burned-in redactions. They claim nothing has been permanently deleted, just secured. But for the millions who saw the chaos of those 24 hours, the trust is gone. The 24-hour disappearance of the Epstein files proved one thing. In the digital age, information is volatile. Sometimes it's hidden by malice, but sometimes it's just lost to incompetence. The question remains, what did we miss in the blink of an eye before the lights went out? Thanks for watching. If you want to stay updated on what actually ends up in the final, re-released logs, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. We'll be tracking it